Hello, welcome to Sissy's Cards and Crafts. This is Sissy. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Eastern Ontario, Canada. So again, just to remind you, the catalog is May to August, has everything in it. They are going to be, well, not everything. There's the online exclusives. They're separate. You find them on stampinup.ca. You can, at the bottom of this video, find the link, the shopping link, and just go in there and that'll get you the digital catalog and look up the online exclusives to see all of those. But this is good till August, as I shared last night. If you place an order of $50 or more with me, and you have to be in Canada to place an order with me, I will send you either this catalog or the new catalog that starts in September. So that's exciting. Demonstrators get to see it a little bit earlier. I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting excitedly for it to arrive. Okay, so there is a new way to join. Well, it's new, but it's a little bit different. I printed this out so I can explain it to you specifically. So what happens is if you want to join, you choose a demonstrator to work under. I would be happy. I'd be thrilled to have you join my team. And you can again find that on the link that will be at the bottom of this video or attached to this video. So you choose your team leader, then you have to, go through the legal agreements and what is going on, or kind of what the expectations are, sorry. Then you put in your personal details. You will pay $135, and then it's almost instantaneous. You get an email welcoming you, all that stuff. And then what happens is you get a digital, I believe it's a digital coupon worth $170. So that means you can go on and buy whatever you want for $170 will be free. And then you can actually buy more than that as well, which is new. So it used to be you could only go up to 165. You couldn't go over 165, even if it was 1 cent. It had to be under 165. And then you could go back on and order more with your discount. But now you can do that right away. So you could order $200 worth of stuff. You'll also get catalogs sent to you and a welcome box. So this is that lovely little welcome box that will come in the mail for you. And there's some good stuff in there. And I believe you get a coupon for your first paper pumpkin free. Okay, so welcome back. Tonight we're going to make our third card using the Homemade Sweetness. Again, it's an online exclusive. It came out in March. This is the whole set. I finally printed the paper out, like I've been saying. So it comes with a DSP. You get your stamps, all of the dies, this lovely big die, an embossing plate that has the little ladybugs and daisies or little white flowers on it. Well, flowers. It's like the white flowers that we've been doing. Well, here's there. We use that embossing folder there. It comes with the ribbon and then the dots, the little strawberry dots, gems. This is the ribbon here. Okay, great. We'll use some of that tonight. So you can buy the suite. It is $132.25. So you could put that in your new kit and still have $50, $48 to go on. The order number for it is 167481. Again, don't worry so much about that because I link it in the video. Plus, all you have to do is just type in Homemade Sweetness and you'll find it. And then there's Filled with Sweetness. So that's just the bundle. So it's the stamps and the dies. That is going to be $78.25. You get a 10% discount when you buy those two together. It does not include the DSP, the embossing folder, the ribbon, or the gems. You can buy them separately. Maybe you just want the bundle and the DSP. You could do that. So that's how that goes. All right. Card 1 we made 2 nights ago. Card 2 we made last night. Card 3, where did I put it? It's right here. So this is the one we're going to make tonight. So I used another embossing folder on this, which I'll talk about in a second. We've used DSP, 1 die here for this, and then some DSP we cut out. I did stamp and cut out a strawberry in here, but tonight we're just going to use part of the DSP for the inside. And then we have our gems and ribbon. All right, let's get started with that. Really, it's only 1 stamp too, because we are going to just use the sentiment. So it's just kind of the DSP with one die cut and 1 stamp. All right, so we have a white card base. And again, on my website, which will be linked, are all the instructions, measurements, and I also link this video in here. Okay, so the embossing folder I use for this is Lovely Stripes embossing folder. This is awesome. If you have it, I strongly suggest it. It's beautiful. I really like it. Very versatile. However, it is no longer available. So I think I put in the instructions you could use suggested the Lazy Days or Lazy Daisy one. That would look cute too. But really, any embossing folder that's not too overly, because it's a background, so you don't want it, you know, I'm thinking the floral sort of ones might not work, but, you know, try to use what you have, right? You don't, these are card ideas. Take it, run with it. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to do that again. I'm going to put glue on that, and then I'm not going to use it. So I'm just going to set that aside, and I'll prove the tackiness of the glue later. So this is going to go on that. Yeah, and I can't put that on because I've got to put that on the back. We are going to put this across the center here. So I took that lovely spoon paper, and this is exactly 2 inches. So if you cut that at 2 inches, you'll get just your spoons. And then with the lines on this, I thought that was great because this just fits right in here. Actually, when I started to design this card, I used vellum. And I really liked the idea of the vellum. But for this embossing folder, it was just a little bit too harsh. I even tried getting it wet and doing that, but it still was, it cracked like crazy. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in there like that. These are the same width, so they match on either side. My glue will hold that down. And then we are going to, again, put that on there, and we're going to do some fussy cutting. So I have 5 jars on here, but as I was cutting out my 5 jars, here was this honey bear, and I thinking, you know what, maybe on the inside, we put the honey bear instead of a strawberry. We'll see what happens with that. So fussy cutting, using a pair of snips, so smaller, very sharp scissors with a good point on the end. You don't really want to use a dull end scissors. You're just going to trim around, and with these jars, it is quite easy to do. I suggest leaving an edge on it, so there's some of the background paper. I'd say white, and it probably looks white to you on this camera. But there is a little bit of a strawberry slush sort of look to the background, almost a denim sort of look again. But you want to leave that little edge. I find if I cut right on the black line, it just doesn't look right. It does depend on what you're cutting out. But if you disagree with me and you want to cut out right on the line, go for it. Maybe you find that easier. Maybe you like the look better. Maybe for the style of card you're doing, you think that's going to be best. Whatever. And you don't have to leave a whole lot. You can leave a finer edge. Just try to make sure it's continuous throughout what you're cutting out. So don't leave like a wide edge at the bottom and a narrow edge at the top, or vice versa. Just try to keep it equal all along. Nobody's going to come and measure it, so don't panic. And just sit back and enjoy the snipping. It is a little bit relaxing. Some people might disagree with that. But if you just go with the flow instead of getting anxious about it, guaranteed you'll do a little bit better and you'll enjoy it a little bit more. Okay, so I got 3 already. Lickety split. There really is only these 5 for the large, and these are the larger jams. They're not the smaller ones. Now, I said use the smaller scissors or snips. Most people find they work better. However, I have seen a couple demonstrators that say the larger scissors work better for them. So whatever works for you. This crafting is all about relaxation, right? Like crafting to just relax, renew your mind, just find some peace. And the other little secret that I've said before, many a demonstrator has said, is when you're fussy cutting, which this is called, you are not moving your scissors around. Your scissors stay stationary in your hand. It's the paper that's moving. So slow and steady. And don't snip, snip, snip with your scissors. Just slowly cut. And when you start to get near the end, move them up. If you start to snip, so snip at the end like this, you get, well, one, my scissors aren't even doing it, but you get little added cuts, we'll say. I don't know, it just doesn't look right. Okay, I'm going to leave the honey bear for a minute, and we'll come back to him. So we're just going to kind of lay these in here. I was looking at the colors. I didn't want my colors to be too close together. And then we're just going to put dimensionals on the backs of these. I'm going to need a new pack of dimensionals. I think tonight I'm just going to put these backings over here on my tray instead of reaching down all the time to the garbage. So we don't want it to go off the edge. We want it to stay fairly centered. Or not centered, but we want it to stay on our card. Because this is really going to be to the edge. But it can come above those spoons. It doesn't have to stay within that boundary. I'm just going to tear that piece off and use that piece for a second. Actually, maybe I'll just use this whole sheet here for these ones. And then our lemon curd is just going to come in here like that. Okay, and this is where I'm thinking, you know what? Let's just maybe use this. So I'm just going to kind of measure 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I did is I took dimensionals, and you can take regular dimensionals, mini dimensionals. You don't have to use the edges, but maybe the edges will be a little bit easier because they are narrower. And these are 1-dimensional high. These ones that I'm going to put on this spot are 2-dimensionals high. So see how I just doubled that up? And then I'm going to stick that on there. I could put a dimensional under here if I want, but I think that's going to be good. All right, So for our little jam jar here, we'll do that. And then that's going to be 2. If that's enough. Oh, you know what? That's not going to work. I need it narrow, like that. Okay. Peel that off. And put that on there. Peel that off. Stick that down there. And then that little jar is going to go there. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Then we are going to take a strawberry and a couple blueberries, and we're going to snip them out and add them on. And now this kind of has the same background paper. So again, it's not white, but it's almost got, looks like crushed curry or something. A little, again, a denim sort of look to it. But not quite white. So how's your day? What's the weather like where you are? Feel free to, I haven't had too many people commenting or giving me any sort of feedback on my videos. I would really, really appreciate that. But let me know where you are, what the world is like where you are as far as weather. They're saying this, is going to be a record-breaking hot summer. I know we've had some hot days. I've been very, very blessed with central air. But even still, I was sewing yesterday and I had to have the fan on because it just got so hot. But, might have been a hot flash too. But honestly, I'm just avoiding outside. It doesn't help that I've had to deal with this wild parsnip as well, but resurgence of wild parsnip. I didn't get into wild parsnip this year. It just happened last year, so it's acting up. Okay. So now we have this tab here, or tag rather, and I'm going to just kind of put it in under here like this, and we're going to use that Homemade for You stamp. This one, however, we're going to heat emboss. So we did the dry embossing. This is time we're going to use the heat embossing. So I've got a piece of paper. Oh, and I didn't plug my heat tool in. And then I've got my stamp here. Just going to plug my heat tool in. You have to bear with me with the squeaky chair. I had some demonstrators warn and say, don't ever leave your heat tool plugged in because, it could fall and accidentally get turned on, and that would not be good. And I'm like, yeah, all right. I don't believe it that it could turn on that easy, but you know what? It happened to me. It did turn on really easy. Okay, so here's our embossing buddy, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a wipe to get that static and stuff off. Here is our embossing powder, and then the Versamark ink. So tap it with the Versamark ink, and remember this is a watermark ink, so there really isn't any inking to it, right? Okay, my head's going to get in the shot probably. There we go. But still, give it a second. Don't just pull it off. And it stays wet for a little while, but not for a long while. So you want to get it in there and get your powder on. I'm just going to make sure it's on. This is older powder. It's the Stampin' Up powder, which has now been discontinued, and they're using the Wow embossing powder, which really is honestly wow. I don't have the black of it, and I have the metallics though, and it is so much finer, and so it just melts so much nicer. But I'm thinking mine's getting a little bit old now, which is sad because there's a whole lot there. I don't really want to get new stuff. That'll last me forever. But if I'm not happy with it, I might as well get some new stuff. Okay. I'm going to have to use my reverse tweezers to hold this. And you notice I used a paintbrush just to get the excess off. So I've got my heat tool. I apologize if there's noise, but I'm going to hold it. So our heat tool has 2 settings, 1 and 2. I'm going to put it on 2, and I'm going to hold it for a second just to allow it to heat up. Do not cover the air vents. That's a good way of killing it. And then we're just going to watch that turn into, it's going to melt, and it's going to be a raised edge. And there you can see it's starting to melt there. There we go. All good. Oh, I think I could do it just a little bit more there. Yes, it needed a little bit more on that E, but don't overdo it because you can burn it as well. So, but it's a nice way, like if you wanted white on a dark, using a dark tag works great. Okay, so got that done. What did I do? Got those. What did I do with my blueberries? Did I lose the blueberries? Did I stand up and the blueberries fell? Or I blew the blueberries away? Oh well, we'll figure it out. No problem. We'll do some more. Squeak, squeak. Things get lost in the craft room. Very much so. Okay. So I took some ribbon and I tied it right around the card. That is, again, why I didn't want to put that blue on there. Okay, so I'm going to guesstimate that is enough because I'm just tying a knot. It's not even a bow. And then you can see that is clear now, but it is still tacky. So it's what Stampin' Up deems as repositionable. I'm just going to cautiously put it on my class mat studio because I want to adhere this, and I'm gluing it right flat on there. With the embossed piece, you do want to be a little bit heavier with the glue than normal. And I'm just going to try to center that on there. So you can see that just stop a little bit. Okay. Oh, there's the blueberries. They were hiding. Phew, you don't have to watch me cut out more blueberries. Okay. So we're just going to put this across our berries, and we do want to center it this time. And we're just going to tie a knot. So have that here. Hold this in the center, and then tie your knot. Try to make it a square knot, and then pull out to the side so you get your edges like that. And I kind of overcompensated I don't know. I might keep that one longer piece because kind of don't want to throw that out. All right. So now, there we go. But you can see it's still tacky, and I was able to lift it up. So that's good. Now, you could put this on with dimensionals because you do have that ribbon there. So it will kind of lift it up a little bit. But with all of the stuff I have going on this card, I don't see that as a problem. Because even if it does push it up in the middle, you're not going to notice that with all of the other dimensions we have going on. All right. Then I'm just going to tack that in there and add my strawberries and my blueberries. I think I'm going to use glue dots for this to hold this down. So I'm going to just put this here. Oh, come on. And then one here. Just to kind of make sure you don't go past the edge of your card. And then this, I'm just going to glue on, I think. And, you know, maybe you're saying that's a little bit much for you. Well, that's fine. Don't add it if you don't want to, right? But I just thought I could add that in there for a little bit extra. You could put them elsewhere, but I think I'm still going to pop them on here. And here, just add a little bit. I'm just going to overlap that a bit and overlap that and stick this down here. Okay. Now we'll use the dots. And again, I think we need to go with the blue because we have the blue card. I'm just going to put one here and here. And one down here. And you could take the, Wink of Stella again and color those. But I think that's cute. And then we can add our second strawberry here, or even your bear. So I put in here, love you very much. Figured the bear would be the best, but you could use you're the sweetest and put some honey there. Maybe that's what we'll do. Switch it up. So we'll put this on here, and we'll use Night of Navy again inside the card. And that is going to be card number 3. Tomorrow night is a fun fold. If I come on tomorrow night, I might hold off, but the next one will be a fun fold. And then, of course, our last one will be a box card. What do you think of the box cards? Are you enjoying them? If I look at viewers, the box cards are getting the most viewers. I really like box cards. They do take more work. They're a little bit more piddly. They're definitely not something that you can just quickly put together. But it's a challenge, and it's definitely the wow card. There's a lot of really awesome fun folds that are wow cards. and even just some regular cards with either the right stamp set or the right layout can just be a wow card. Speaking of wow cards, have you seen any of the demonstrators that have shown the new foiling machine? Hot foiling, that is really something. That's kind of on my wish list. I, however, don't have Stampin' Up's Stamp Cut and Emboss machine. So that means I would have to invest in that as well. So we'll see how soon I can get that. Right, there we go. Let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me. I should have probably come down just a bit so we could see the blueberries on that jar, but then you can't see the cherries. But anyway, let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up, share, like this video, all that jazz. Would really appreciate it. But I thank you for your time. Take care. Have a wonderful day.